Hey guys, Andy here. If you're a subscriber, you may have seen recently that I unboxed the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, OnePlus have been around for quite a few years now, making kind of good value, good hardware, but not necessarily top-end flagship hardware. And one of the areas they sort of made a bit of a saving in, I believe, was the camera. Talk is the OnePlus 8 Pro is kind of breaking that mold, and they've gone proper flagship mode, and that the camera actually now is up there with the big boys. So I thought, well, what better way to test it than against my own Pixel 4? So I thought we'd start it off with a blind taste test. So I'm going to show you some pictures. They'll either be labelled A or B. All the A's will be from one of the phones and all the B's will be from the other phone. So you just need to try and decide which is better, A or B. Well, you do that, or you try and decide which the Pixel or which the OnePlus is. But I think just pick 4 right. I think the better one is, and then I'll reveal which is which. So have you guessed? I can tell you that A was the OnePlus 8 Pro and B was the Pixel 4. Honestly, it surprised me a little bit. There were a few of the photos I looked at that I thought, actually I think the OnePlus 8 Pro is slightly better. And we'll go through a few of those photos now and just have a look at the kind of the differences, I suppose. So for example, this one here against the gate. I chose this picture, or I took this picture I suppose, specifically because it was staring into the sun. Now the sun isn't quite, it was quite sort of, well you can see from the shadows, the sun's quite high, but it was looking towards the sun. You're never really supposed to take photos looking towards the sun. You want the sun to be shining on your subject, not on your lens, if that makes sense. But if we look at the OnePlus 8 Pro's image, I think it's actually done a better job of dealing with the sun shining onto the lens. The bike is kind of an orangey red, and the colour really comes through well in that image. Where if we go over to the Pixel 4, that's actually a little disappointing. The bike is really faded and a little grey. There's a bit of, I think we call that lens flare coming through the post on the left-hand side of the gate, and the colours just aren't as strong. The sky isn't as blue. It definitely, the OnePlus, or to me, the OnePlus 8 Pro is a better photo of there. If we then look at some of the lower light one, let's we'll go back to the picture of the shop. Now, I could be persuaded either way on this. You could argue that the OnePlus 8 Pro is a brighter, more colourful image. At the same time, you could argue that the Pixel 4 has truer colours, perhaps. I don't know. Honestly, I think I prefer the OnePlus 8 Pro image. But to be honest, that's one that you can sort of make your own mind up, really. I mean, a lot of the time, I'm no expert. I like a bit of photography, but I'm no photography expert, and the technicalities, it's just a matter of kind of looking at a picture and think, yeah, that's quite a nice picture. If we go to the one of my back garden, so this basically, as I was stood looking, it was basically pitch black. I mean, you obviously see a bit from the windows of the flats, but I think the Pixel 4 photo is a bit better in this instant. I think it's a more natural looking colour. I think the OnePlus 8 Pro, there's a bit of a yellow tint to it. And again, this is possibly like the last low light photo. Possibly the Pixel 4 does do a better job of white balancing. And if you remember back to their launch, they did talk a lot about the AI that went into the white balancing effect and how it would benefit the photos. If we pick just a sort of fairly regular, back to just a normal picture, the one in front of the, I don't know, a warmer boy, I suppose that is. I don't know there's much between them. Interestingly, the cloud in the OnePlus 8 Pro is more noticeable. Possibly the colours are a bit stronger. I mean, is that just a sort of an AI effect from the OnePlus 8 Pro? I don't know you would pick one better than it. Again, you can decide if one is better. The greens in the Pixel 4, they look a bit stronger. Interestingly, the red of the red orangish of the bike looks a bit stronger in the OnePlus 8 Pro. So I'm going to move on to some video now. I've got just a few clips and I'll try and show them in different ways, some side by side, some overlapping, some alternate, because I'm never entirely sure which is best, if I'm honest. So the first bit, Whetstone High Road, side by side. I don't know there's much you can tell between. Possibly the OnePlus 8 Pro looks a little better, kind of maybe crisper colour. Oh, I don't know. I think that's the problem with really good conditions. There often isn't much to separate them. Again, here the colours are a bit stronger on the OnePlus 8 Pro, but is that a good thing or is it oversaturated? Your call, I suppose. Now we go to the low light and night conditions, and this is alternate. And again, there really isn't a huge amount between. The colour balancing looks more alike. The Pixel 4 seems to perhaps, I don't know, maybe it does too much to make the images light. And then finally, a darker one. Again, so the Pixel 4 does a better job of kind of making things a bit brighter, but sometimes if it goes too far and it makes the lights and things are then too bright. I don't know. Which is better? Your call, really, your call. I've given you some evidence to go on. And I think perhaps just the fact that the OnePlus 8 Pro is in that discussion, and there's probably some of you that are going, no, you're ridiculous, the Pixel 4 is way better, this is the reason, this is okay. But just as me looking at the two different sets of evidence, they're very similar, And for a OnePlus phone to be battling with a Pixel phone, and they're in the same league, it's a fair battle. That's a massive step for them, I think. I'd love to hear your comments down below. I do read all of them, so please do leave a comment. Let me know if you guessed A or B correctly. Let me know which you thought is better. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Check out the other videos on my channel. Hit that thumbs up and that bell. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.